All right, so our topic, it's called mean absolute deviation. So everybody, write this at the top of your packet. Mean absolute deviation. All right? This is our new topic. This is our last topic of the year. One teardrop. Didn't know it was going to come this quick. But we are here, people. All right? We're going to keep going. So, mean absolute deviation. The first thing I want you to identify in mean absolute deviation is our question. It says, what is the mean absolute deviation? We're going to look at the first letters of each word. And it spells out what word? Mad. Mad. All right? And anytime we see mean absolute deviation or mad, we're going to use this. Well, we used to call it a what? What type of chart is this? 3CPC chart. But with mad, mean absolute deviation, we're going to call it a mad chart. So we're going to use a mad chart. So yeah, just draw it. Oh wait, so y'all don't have this. No, this is not on y'all's paper. So I just want y'all to watch this. Perfect. Yeah, don't write anything, just watch. So now, when we're solving it, we're going to draw our mad chart, and then the first thing we're going to do is underline our numbers. All right? So we underline our numbers, and then we're going to take those numbers. You don't have to write it down, you're just watching. And we're going to take these numbers, and we're going to write down our numbers first. This is my first step. I'll just write it down. Okay? And now, does anybody know what the word mean means?
The most common.
Not the most common.
The average.
The average. The average. So we're trying to find the average of something. We have to find two separate averages as we walk through this, and I'll show you that. The first average is of the numbers that we have. Okay? So we have 4 different numbers. The first thing to figure out our average is we need to add them all up. So add up 5 plus 2 plus 8 plus 9, and what do we get? Pick your calculator up.
24.
24. So on my math chart, I'm going to write 24. And then I'm going to say divided by
4.
the number of numbers that we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. So it's 24 divided by 4 gives me what?
6.
6. And now, that 6 that I get, I'm going to circle that 6. Now, the number that I circle is the number that's going to go in the middle of my column. So I'm going to say 6, 6, 6, 6. Okay?
That's 4 6.
Okay? 4 6s, not 3 6. All right? So now, with this, we're going to have to subtract, so we're also going to write a subtraction symbol. Okay? So now, with our calculator, we're going to say 5 minus 6 gives you what? -1. So, anytime we do mad or mean absolute deviation, we're going to subtract, but we're going to take the number without the negative. So we got -1, we're just going to put 1. We need to find out how far apart are these numbers. So 2 minus 6 is going to be what? -4, so we're going to put what?
4.
What about here? 8 minus 2? 2. 9 minus 6? 3. Alright? So boom. So we have our deviation, right? So now we have to find the mean of our column D. So how do we find the mean of these numbers? What do we do? Add them up.
10.
So what do we get when we add them up? 10. And what do we do with our 10? Divide by what? 4. And what do we get? 2.5 is my mean absolute deviation. So my answer is what?
C.
C. It's easy. You just got to know, what does mean mean? It means average. All right? It means average. It means average.
Is that easy?
You like this one? Pretty good. All right. So now, let's go. Now go to the I do section. So this one should be in your paper. And so I'm going to sample exactly what you do in order to solve this. All right? You do. Move up here. All right, so first, I'm going to underline the numbers that I need to use. And then I noticed that the question is asking me about what is the mad or mean absolute deviation. So I'm going to underline those words. And so now I'm going to make my mad chart. I'm going to say M A, D, and then I make my chart from that. And I wish my marker would work. Okay. So now in my first column, all I have to do is simply write the numbers that I have. Most of y'all are probably moving ahead, which is fine, but make sure that you're doing it completely correct. So check up here to make sure that what you're doing looks like what I'm doing, okay? So I wrote out all my numbers. Now I need to find the mean or average of those. So I'm going to add them all up. What do I get when I add them all up? 54. How many are we divided by?
5.
Divided by 5 gives me what?
10.8.
10.8. So now where do I write my 10.8? In the middle. So here, the number we're trying to figure out how far we're from is my 10.8. So can I get a decimal when I'm doing this? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So how far away, or what is 11 minus 10.8? 0.2. So that's the deviation. My deviation is 0.2. What's the next one?
Negative 1.8.
So do you put the negative?
No.
Nope, just 1.8. All right, what about the next one?
1.2.
1.2. And wait, so this one is 1.8?
It's 2, 0.
Huh?
Negative.
It's negative what? 1.8, okay, just making sure. And so this one becomes 1.2? Okay, just making sure. All right. So what is 14 minus 10.8? 3.2. I didn't say I was wrong, I'm just asking. What about the next one? 2.8. And now, what do I do with these 5 numbers here? Add them, and what do I get?
8.
You get 8? I'm going to trust you. And then what?
No.
I'm going to trust you. Is it 8?
Divided by 5.
Huh? Divided by what?
5.
5, and then what do I get?
I don't know.
Huh? What do I get?
When you add
8 divided by 5?
when you add them together, it's 9.2.
I thought so. I'm listening to Layla. 9.2. Divided by what? 5 gives me what?
1.84.
1.84. And then I'm going to circle my answer. My mean absolute deviation is 1.4. So, the hard part, if we have a hard part, the difficult part is writing everything in the chart. That's the difficult part. Alright? If you feel like writing isn't as easy, that's perfect. Because it is. It should be easy. It's a real simple topic. And this is the last one I'm going to teach you. Alright? So, here we go. Now I'm going to pick on people. Let's see. A meal card. First thing, what's my first step? What do I need to do first?
Underline
Mean absolute deviation, because this is what we're talking about. All right? Now, this question, they wrote it a little differently. They gave us timelines, right? But if we look at this, this number line, if we look at the number line, it tells us where each number is located. So on y'all's paper, we're going to circle all the X's that you have. So this one we have to identify a little differently, but we're going to circle the X's. All right? These X's represent different numbers. All right? So we're going to use this, and we're going to draw our math chart. Okay? And now we need to write the numbers. My first X is over what number? 43. What about my next one? 46. Because this is 43, 44, 45, 46. The next one's over what? 48. What about my next one? 50. Good. I think y'all getting it. What about my next one? 53. And then 56, and then what? 58. And then what? 62. Man, that was a lot of numbers. All right, so now, add those numbers up. What do we get? Add them up. What do we get? And make sure that you add them up correctly. Make sure that you add them up correctly. And what do you get? And I got to stop trusting you. Gotta get my own.
480.
I don't know, okay.
418.
Does everybody agree? 418? 418?
No.
416? 416. All right, so let's see. 416 divided by how many? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Divided by 8, what do I get?
52.
52. So my A is going to be 52. And don't get lazy. I want you to write it every level. Every single level. This is making you internalize the information. You're going to write it every single level. And do I add these up? I subtract them. So what is 43 minus 52? Negative what?
9.
Negative 9. So what do I write?
9.
9. What will my next number be?
No.
Huh? What? 6. Good. What's my next number? 4. What about my next one? 2. What about my next one?
1.
What about my next one?
4.
What about my next one?
6.
What about my next one?
10.
10. Good. And what do I do with these numbers?
Add
Add
them.
up.
Add them up. And what do I get?
32.
32. 32 divided by what?
6. 5.
8.
8. 8.
You divide by the same number. The amount of numbers is not going to change. If I had to divide by 8 over here, have to do the same over here. And what do I get?
4.
My mean absolute deviation, or my MAD, is 4.
So it's deep. Oh, it's not that hard.
Are y'all giving me the right numbers?
I got 42.
It's 42.
Yay!
I knew 32 was too small.
You said 32.
I knew it was too small. It looked too small to me.
You said 32.
Yeah.
Layla.
All right. Shh. All right, so what is 42 divided by 8?
6.
I knew that wasn't right. David.
No, 7.
Okay, 6.
No. Yeah.
Just type it in your calculator.
5.25.
All right, 5.25. 5.25. All right, we're moving past it. We're moving past it. All right, now, you do. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to solve the first you do question using your math chart. Using your math chart, I want you to solve the next one. 2 minutes. By the end of the 2 minutes, I'll have the whole question up. But everybody solve it without talking. Solve the question without talking. Thank you. But remember each step that you have to take in order to solve it. Each step that you have to take in order to solve it. What do you need to do in order to solve this question? So if you're confused, just make sure you look up here and see if you're going in the right direction. If you see what I see on this board, you're doing something right. About 40 seconds left, and then I want you to look back up here. And make sure you're identifying what I have compared to what you have. And remember, we're not using any negatives. No negatives. Okay? And we need to know what is that number minus that number. 8 minus 8. Good. Then we have 1. 2, 2, and then a 3, and 3. All right, all eyes up here. So this is the chart that I have. So now I have all my deviations. Now I need to add them up. When I add them up, I get 12. And then I need to divide it by what number?
7.
7. Where could you get this 7 from?
From adding
From the
them.
other side. We had to divide it 7 already. That means I divide 7 again. The way I got my first 7 is by counting the amount of numbers that we had. When I counted it, 12 divided by 7 gives me 1.71. And that's my mean absolute deviation, or my MAD. Okay? Yes, next you do. Next you do. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Solve it. And if you notice, all I'm doing is keeping my same chart and changing the numbers. So it's still the same process. The numbers change though. Same process, different numbers. Same process, different numbers. But remember, I want you to underline the list of numbers. Because some people are going to forget a number. Some people are going to add an extra number. I want you to underline it to make sure that you do not forget one of those numbers. If there's 6 numbers here, there should be 6 numbers listed. Okay? And remember, if you get confused, just look up. Just look up. 34. Seconds left, and then we're back together. 25 seconds left, and we're back together. All right, all eyes up here. So this is kind of about what you need to see right here. If your paper looks like this, you're doing it right. If something's wrong, check to see what is it that you did wrong. Did you subtract? Did you put a negative sign there when it shouldn't have been? But these are the numbers that we should see. These are all of our deviations. It tells us how far away from that average we are. So now we're going to average all of our deviations. So once I add them all up, I get, should be 14. It should be 14. Divided by 6, and what do I get? 2.33. 2.33. So our mean absolute deviation is 2.33. Good, good, good. On this, but did you get 14? How do I get those numbers? So now, once you have the average, all you do is take this number, 9 minus 5.66. 7 minus 5.66. And now if you said 2 minus 5.66, it would be a negative, but you just put the positive form of it. So anytime you're doing this, there's no negatives on it, but you just subtract it. All right, so your job is to complete all 10. All 10. Number 11 you can scratch out. Number 11 you can scratch out. Now I'm going to give you 30 minutes to complete those 10. 30 minutes to complete those 10. Whatever ones you're not done with after that 30 minutes, I'm going to take points off. All right, so it's 10 of them. You need to complete all 10 of them.